Canada has always been a land of opportunity, a place where dreams can take root and grow, and where talented individuals from around the world come to build better lives for themselves and their families. But stepping into that world isn't always simple. Navigating the immigration system can be daunting, especially when it comes to work permits, which are the gateway to employment and career growth in Canada. With new work permit rules now in place, it's more important than ever to be fully aware of the changes and to avoid mistakes that could derail your plans. This is not just about paperwork. It's about understanding your rights, responsibilities, and the strategic steps you need to take to secure your future in Canada. Every detail matters, from how you apply to how you maintain your status once you're here, and a single misstep can have long-lasting consequences. The first thing to understand is that Canada's work permit system has become more streamlined, but at the same time, stricter in terms of compliance. It is designed to protect Canadian labor markets while allowing skilled foreign workers to fill essential gaps. What this means for applicants is that you cannot rely on outdated advice or shortcuts that might have worked in the past. Every requirement listed by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, now carries weight, and failure to meet them can result in delays, refusals, or even bans from future applications. It is crucial, therefore, to be methodical and deliberate. Before submitting an application, gather all required documents, double-check the information, and ensure that your credentials, experience, and supporting evidence meet the current criteria. Mistakes such as missing documents, incomplete forms, or discrepancies between your application and your supporting evidence are the most common reasons for refusal, and they are entirely avoidable with proper preparation. The new rules emphasize authenticity and transparency. IRCC officers are trained to scrutinize applications closely, not only for procedural compliance, but also to ensure that applicants genuinely meet the eligibility criteria. For example, if you are applying for an employer-specific work permit, it is no longer sufficient to submit an offer letter without verifying that your prospective employer has completed the necessary steps, such as obtaining a Labor Market Impact Assessment, LMIA, when required. Even if an LMIA-exempt pathway is available, there are conditions you must fully understand, such as the duration of your permit, renewal eligibility, and any restrictions on work type or location. Misunderstanding or ignoring these conditions can lead to legal violations, which can affect not only your current application, but also future immigration prospects. Another critical change is the increased focus on digital verification. IRCC now relies heavily on electronic submissions and online monitoring. This shift means that your digital footprint matters. All documents should be legible, properly formatted, and correctly uploaded. Scanned copies must be clear with readable signatures and dates. Pay special attention to dates of validity for passports, visas, educational certificates, and employment records. A single expired document can trigger a refusal. Similarly, any inconsistencies between what you declare online and what appears in supporting documents can be interpreted as misrepresentation, which carries severe penalties, including a 5-year ban from entering Canada. Accuracy and honesty are not just ethical requirements, they are legal obligations. It is equally important to understand the timing of your application. The new rules have introduced stricter timelines and processing expectations. Applying too early without completing your eligibility requirements or too late when your current status is expiring can complicate the process. You need to plan strategically, ensuring that all prerequisites are satisfied before submitting your application. This includes having valid passports, completed medical exams if required, and proof of financial support when applicable. Waiting until the last minute often leads to rushed submissions, missing information, or errors, all of which can be avoided with careful scheduling. Financial preparedness is another area that applicants often overlook. While work permits are primarily about legal eligibility to work in Canada, the process involves fees, possible legal consultation costs, and sometimes relocation expenses. The new rules require applicants to demonstrate financial stability in certain situations, especially for specific work permit categories tied to temporary or specialized employment. Having clear proof of your ability to support yourself and your dependents not only strengthens your application, but also reflects compliance with IRCC expectations. A lack of documentation in this area is a common reason for additional requests or delays, so meticulous attention to financial records is essential. Employment-specific requirements have also been tightened. Jobs that are high demand, skill-specific, or tied to provincial nominee programs have detailed eligibility criteria. This means that your work experience, educational credentials, and professional certifications must align perfectly with the position you are applying for. Simply stating that you have experience is no longer enough. You must provide verifiable proof, including reference letters, official transcripts, and licensing documents when applicable. Even minor discrepancies, such as differences in job titles, employment dates, or responsibilities, can trigger a review or refusal. Being proactive and thorough in documenting your professional history is no longer optional. It is mandatory. The new rules also reinforce the importance of maintaining legal status throughout your time in Canada. Once you obtain a work permit, compliance with all conditions is essential. Working outside the scope of your permit, changing employers without proper authorization, or overstaying your permitted duration can result in immediate consequences. Unlike in the past, IRCC now has more robust systems for monitoring violations, and even a brief lapse can affect renewals, permanent residency applications, and future travel to Canada. Therefore, understanding your rights and obligations under the permit is critical. It is not just about following the law. It is about securing your long-term future in the country. Health and safety regulations have also become more prominent under the new framework. Certain types of work, especially in healthcare, childcare, and essential services, require specific health clearances. Applicants may need to undergo medical examinations, vaccination verifications, or other health-related screenings before their work permits are approved. Ignoring these requirements or submitting incomplete medical documentation can lead to delays or refusals, so attention to detail is essential. Health compliance is not just bureaucratic, it is tied to the safety and well-being of both workers and the wider Canadian population. For students or temporary residents transitioning to work permits, the rules have introduced new pathways, but also stricter scrutiny. Post-graduation work permits, which allow international students to gain valuable Canadian work experience, now have explicit conditions regarding program duration, course completion, and application timelines. Applying too late after graduation or failing to meet course-specific requirements can result in lost opportunities. Students must be proactive in understanding the deadlines, documentation, and proof of graduation needed to secure these permits. This transition period is a critical window, and missing it can significantly delay career progress in Canada. Family considerations are another crucial aspect. If you are bringing dependents, spouses, or children with you, the new rules specify their eligibility for work or study permits. Dependent work permits are now more closely tied to the primary applicant's status and employment type. Understanding these linkages ensures that your entire family maintains legal status and can participate fully in Canadian life. Failing to comply with dependent regulations can lead to family separation, which can be stressful and legally complicated. A holistic approach to applications that includes all family members is essential for a smooth and successful immigration experience. The new work permit rules also emphasize adaptability. Canada's labor market is dynamic, and immigration policies now encourage applicants to be flexible in their employment plans. Certain permits allow for intra-company transfers, open work options for spouses, and mobility within provinces, but each comes with specific conditions and limitations. Being unaware of these subtleties can limit opportunities or result in inadvertent violations. It is important to read and understand every clause of your work permit and to seek clarification from official IRCC sources when in doubt. Knowledge is your most powerful tool in navigating the system successfully. Mistakes often happen when applicants rely on unofficial advice or outdated resources. Social media forums, blogs, and hearsay may provide general guidance, but can contain inaccuracies that are now costly under the new rules. Always refer to official IRCC sources, consult accredited immigration professionals when necessary, and maintain a personal record of all communications and submissions. Being organized, transparent, and informed not only reduces the risk of errors, but also demonstrates professionalism and reliability to Canadian authorities. Language and communication requirements have also gained importance. Some work permit categories now explicitly require proof of language proficiency in English or French. Failing to provide recognized test scores or misrepresenting your skills can jeopardize your application. Communication skills are not just bureaucratic hurdles. They are essential for workplace integration, safety, and effective collaboration in Canada's multicultural environment. Preparing in advance for language assessments and keeping all certificates current is essential for a successful application. Renewal and extension processes are another area where mistakes can occur. Work permits are temporary by nature, and timely renewal is critical. Under the new rules, late or incomplete renewal applications can lead to a loss of status, which may require leaving Canada and reapplying from abroad. Keeping a calendar of deadlines, maintaining updated documentation, and submitting renewal applications well before expiry are best practices that prevent unnecessary stress and interruptions in employment. Planning ahead is not just advisable. It is mandatory for maintaining continuity of work and residence in Canada. Understanding the difference between employer-specific and open work permits is vital. Employer-specific permits tie you to a particular job and location, while open permits provide greater flexibility but have stricter eligibility requirements. Applying for the wrong type of permit or misunderstanding the conditions attached to each can limit your options or result in violations. A clear understanding of the permit type that suits your goals, along with careful adherence to its terms, is essential for long-term success. Lastly, the new rules highlight the importance of ethical compliance and long-term planning. Canada values applicants who demonstrate honesty, diligence, and respect for the law. Misrepresentation, fraud, or cutting corners may provide short-term gains, but will have severe long-term consequences. Building a legal, transparent, and well-documented immigration record is not just about following the rules. It is about creating a foundation for future opportunities, whether in employment, permanent residency, or citizenship. Navigating the new work permit rules in Canada can seem complex, but it is entirely manageable with careful preparation, attention to detail, and adherence to official guidance. Avoiding mistakes requires planning ahead, gathering accurate documentation, understanding all conditions and timelines, and maintaining full compliance throughout your stay. It's not just about filling out forms. It's about building a pathway to a successful and fulfilling life in Canada. By approaching the process with diligence, honesty, and strategic thinking, you can maximize your chances of approval, avoid unnecessary delays, and ensure that your Canadian dream becomes a reality. Every step you take, from the initial application to ongoing compliance, shapes your immigration journey. Canada has opened doors to skilled and talented individuals, and by respecting the rules, preparing thoroughly, and avoiding common pitfalls, you can enter the country confidently, work legally, and build a future that aligns with your aspirations. The new work permit rules may be detailed and strict, but they are navigable for anyone willing to approach them with care, knowledge, and a commitment to accuracy. In the end, the effort you invest in avoiding mistakes is an investment in your own success, security, and peace of mind, ensuring that your Canadian experience is positive, productive, and long-lasting.